I got 3 root canals and crowns done here in San Jose, Costa Rica. I'm going to tell you about my experience. I'm going to tell you about the cost. I'm going to tell you why I did it in Costa Rica. And I'm going to tell you why I'm not going to share my dentist's name. Okay? So stick around. We're going to talk about my root canal, crown, dental tourism experience in Costa Rica. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Stephanie Perry. I'm a house sitter. I'm the creator of House Sitter School, co-creator of Exodus Summit, and I help Black women take a sabbatical or career break, bop around the world as a nomad, move abroad, embrace ease, and all of that. If any of these things sound good to you, subscribe to this channel, please, and then turn on notifications, ring the notification bell, and you'll be notified when I go live or when I post a new video. Welcome. Okay, so like I said, I'm in San Jose, Costa Rica. I've been a full-time nomad since 2015, and I've spent at least 6 months in Costa Rica every year for the last 3 years. I needed a root canal bad. I knew I needed 2. One of my teeth, this molar, part of it broke off, or like the filling, I guess it had a real big filling in there. And the filling, I pulled it out, eating something in Mexico in 2018 or 2019. I never got it filled or worked on. I think at the time it was just a matter of me not being in any one place for any particular amount of time. I was house sitting a lot more then than I do now. And so I think I was just like, well, when I get somewhere and sit somewhere, I'll do it. And then I just never got anywhere long enough while it was fresh on my mind to actually get the dental work taken care of. Mexico, where I was, Ajijic, Mexico, where I was when I pulled that filling out, is a dental tourism location. So it was a location where I could have gotten really good dental work. In fact, I went to the pharmacist when I pulled the filling out. I think I was flying in it the next day. I went to the pharmacist when I whatever I ate, pulled that filling out, and I was like, I need some stuff to, put in my tooth. In the US, you can buy stuff to kind of pack your tooth a little bit before you get dental care. And she was like, just go to the dentist. Right? Girl, why are you tripping? Go to the dentist. So I couldn't even buy anything. So it was just like an open, exposed tooth for years, for too long. And then after a while, I got so used to it. Don't judge me, okay? We all have things that we need to address that we're so used to that we just don't address, okay? So I got so used to it that I forgot. But then the second one started giving me problems. So I was in San Jose, Costa Rica, and I was like, okay, finally, let me do this now. It was a year ago, almost exactly, when I went for that first appointment. I Googled endodontist because I knew I needed a root canal. I knew at least one of them needed a root canal and crown. Maybe the other one didn't, but I knew the first one, the broken one, did. So I Googled endodontist, best endodontist in San Jose, Costa Rica, and one of them was within walking distance of the Airbnb that I was staying in. So I made an appointment. I walked on over there, and everything was cool. San Jose is not the prettiest city, but this was in a nicer neighborhood. I was gonna say in the nicest neighborhood, not the nicest neighborhood, but in a nicer neighborhood. And I got inside and it looked like a dental office. Sometimes in other countries, things don't look like what we're used to as Americans, and it can be a little scary or off-putting. But once I walked from the outside, it did look like a house, okay? It was a house. It was a house. It was in the same neighborhood that my Airbnb was in. But once I went in through the garage, it looked like a regular dentist's office with the waiting room and the exam rooms and the room with the x-rays. And so I felt comfortable. I got my x-ray done, and they said you actually need 2 root canals and crowns, and then this one they were just going to fill. Same molar, all 4 of my molars are, all 4 of the exact same molar problematic, okay? So I went ahead and made the appointment to get the 2 root canals and the other filling. Because this was the kind of dentist office where the endodontist wasn't there every day, she was there, I think, twice a week or something. I made my appointment for the next week. So week 1, I go in for my exam. Week 2, the endodontist comes in, does the root canals, and puts in the temporary teeth thing. When she's there, she goes over my x-rays, did another x-ray, and talked to 2 other dentists there, and they decided that this one needed a root canal as well, not just a filling. So now we're up to 3. The receptionist out front, explained to me the price. Everything was root canal and crown was 825, I believe, per tooth. 825 US dollars per tooth. In Costa Rica, they use the US dollar and they use the Costa Rican colon, right? When they're talking to American people, they tell you the price in dollars. I didn't shop around, and I didn't know. I wasn't concerned, I'll say, if I could get this for a cheaper price. So I didn't shop around. But because this was in a little bit nicer neighborhood, and because everything was in English, right? And even the name of the dentist's office was an English name, not Sonrisa, right? Sonrisa is smile, I think, right? It wasn't like Sonrisa Dentista, right? It was like, this is a thing for the tourists. I didn't shop around. What I'm saying is I didn't shop around for the price. I had the money. I knew it was less than it was going to cost me in the U.S. without dental insurance, so I spent the money. But I know I could have cut a couple $100s off of it. Now, remember that Costa Rica is not a bargain basement destination. Costa Rica is not a cheap place. In in Central America anyway, for Central America, it's pretty expensive, right? So I was willing to pay the money for the convenience, for the immediacy, and because I walked in the dentist's office and I trusted the people. I looked at them, they seemed to be good, right? They knew what they were doing. The younger dentist who first did my exams and stuff, he was, young, but he spoke English, which is not uncommon in Costa Rica. And then the endodontist, the expert, she came in. She was still pretty young. I'm 50, right? So I was 49 last year. She was still younger than me, but she seemed experienced and she knew what she was doing and she was professional. And so that 825 per tooth, I had no problem with, right? I was gonna pay it. But like one more time, I'm gonna tell you, you could get it for less in Costa Rica, but you could get it for even less in Mexico, in Ajijic, Mexico, where I have house sat before. My mom got a partial denture. I want to say she paid 1/4 of what the U.S. Price she was quoted in the U.S. One-fourth of what she was quoted in Dover, Delaware, is what she paid for her partial denture in Mexico. I think she said more than that, but her conversion skills aren't the best. She said that she got it for like 1/10 of the price. Like they quoted her 4,000 and it was 400, but I don't think that's true because she was doing a terrible job of converting, right? So I think they quoted her 4,000 in the US and I think it was 800 in Mexico. I think that was it. So 800 times, that's 1/5 of what the list price was in the US. Dental tourism exists around the world, and medical tourism in general exists around the world because there are people who are trained and equipped all around the world who can do dental care for you. And sometimes it's cheaper to hop on a plane and fly to another place and get your care and fly back home, right? Stay there for however long, stay there for a week or whatever, and then fly back home. Sometimes that's cheaper than going to the dentist in the United States. Sometimes even with dental insurance. Now, I'm a person who doesn't have dental insurance because I'm a house sitter. I already told you that, right? I'm a YouTuber. I don't have dental insurance in the U.S. and I also don't live in the U.S. I spend half my time other places, or I spent all of my time other places, and half of that is Costa Rica. So, all that to say, it was worth the money for me. You have to decide if it's worth the money for you. Okay, so they do the crown, they do the root canals. I didn't experience any more pain or discomfort than let me tell you this, as a black woman, as a fat black woman, as a 50-year-old fat black woman, they probably were gentler with me than I would expect a dentist to be in the United States with me, okay? Lots of checking in, lots of making sure that I'm okay. I feel that way in Costa Rica in general. In general, people are gentler, kinder, warmer with me than strangers in the United States. When they see a fat black 50-year-old woman, I'm either invisible or I am their workhorse or something, right? Here, they don't come with those, they don't treat me with those prejudices. So I felt like the actual procedures were done with care. Lots of communication. Like I said, they spoke English. I didn't ask. So some people go to doctors abroad and they ask the doctor where you were trained and stuff. And sometimes you'll find your doctor was trained in the US or in the Caribbean. I didn't ask those questions because I didn't care, right? She was rated as the top 3 endodontists in San Jose, Costa Rica. Fine, I'm booking her, right? So then that was week 2 when they did that stuff. And then week 3, I went in and the younger dentist put on the crowns. The second day, the day of the root canals, the day when the endodontist did the root canals, this bottom tooth, I felt it. Not, maybe like 2 different times I felt her poking, and she would go back in, give me a little more anesthesia, wait a little bit longer, and go again. It was just that initial shock, right? Not like prolonged pain, but like an initial shock, like, girl, I felt that, okay? So that meant that it took forever for that anesthesia to wear off the second day of for that second appointment. I walked home in the rain, and maybe if I find the video, I'll insert it. I walked home in the rain and had to go live because it was this time last year when Rashida Dow and I were fully in the middle of Exodus Summit season, and we were about to be interviewed somewhere to talk about Exodus Summit. And half my face was still numb because I needed so much anesthesia for one of the teeth. But other than that, no problem. So went back for the final appointment, and they put on the crowns. My crowns are zirconium, super strong. I've never had crowns before. I've never had a root canal before, okay? But it seemed fine. The process of putting the crowns on seemed fine. This thing, the younger dentist did, not the endodontist. You just put them in there and had you bite down and, sanded them down a lot. More drilling, which was annoying, more sanding, that sanding sound, was the worst part of the experience. The sound was worse than anything else I experienced. It was hours of that sound, that grinding and sanding sound in my mouth. So I put them on. All of the 3 of them fit on really nicely. 2 of the 3 fit on really nicely. 1, 2. These 2, no problems. This one, I felt like when I left the office, I felt like, should I turn back around and see if he can sand this down some more? And so I made another appointment. I was going somewhere. Oh, Panama. After Exodus Summit last year, I went to Panama. So I went to Panama, and while I was down there, I was like, oh, you know what? It's fit, right? The crown is in place, and I guess from biting and eating and stuff, it kind of ground itself down. It was no longer pokey. It started out a little pokey. So I canceled that final appointment, I believe. I don't think I went back. I canceled that final appointment. So now it's been a year. We finished the process like October 15th, I think, of 2023, and I'm recording this September 12th, 2024. No problems. I floss my little crowns. I can brush my crowns. I can eat whatever. The temperature sensitivity is gone. It's been years since I've not felt a real sensitivity to cold. So that's real nice. Now, wouldn't you know, the 4th tooth, that same molar, the 4th one, every now and then it's a little reactive when I bite down. When I bit down on a popcorn seed not too long ago, and I was like, uh-oh, here we go. So I probably will go back to those same people once Exodus Summit is over this year and be like, what do I need? Okay? I trust those people. So why am I not going to share the name of the dentist's office? Because I don't do any research. I didn't do any research. I didn't look the dentist's name up. I didn't Google bad experiences with such and such a dentist. I didn't compare them to any other dentist. I don't want to be responsible for your bad outcome, okay? Do your own Googles. There are people who help people who are looking for medical tourism resources. I'm going to point you to a couple in the description of this video, okay? But mostly I want to talk for just a second about healthcare and why healthcare, including dental care, because dental care is healthcare, why healthcare abroad is an actual reason to pack your bags and leave the United States of America. Whether it's for a few weeks or a few months or a few years, or put your mama on the phone, I ain't never coming home, okay? Healthcare in another country will help you understand how messed up healthcare in the United States is. I already told you that I didn't feel like they were going to give me any less care in the healthcare because I'm a black woman. But they actually gave me more care in the healthcare than I'm used to. I didn't tell you this. To make the appointment, I WhatsApped the doctor and she WhatsApped me back. The endodontist and her receptionist WhatsApped me back. When I said, I need to make an appointment, I think I need a root canal or two, she was like, okay, here's the whatever. And I was WhatsApping them, and I realized this is the dentist. This is not a receptionist. This is not a bot. This is the actual dentist. What she did was she said, take a picture of the tooth. And it was hard. You know, these teeth are back here. It was hard to get it and whatever. And she was like, yeah, this one looks like such and such, and this one looks like such and such. And I'm like, oh, this isn't a receptionist. This is the dentist. Doctora so-and-so, right? Dentista. This is the dentista talking to me on WhatsApp. I had Exodus Summit took a group trip to South Africa not too long ago. One of the women, was that Morocco? In 2023, Exodus Summit took a group trip to Morocco. One of the women needed a house call, needed a doctor to come to the hotel. Doctor came to the hotel. We WhatsApped with the doctor. Doctor was like, okay, here's when I'll be there. And the doctor checked in with her via WhatsApp. Like house calls and actual access to your healthcare provider is a reason to embrace getting healthcare abroad. I hope that if you're putting something off because you can't afford it in the United States, I hope you do some Googles, do some research, and see if it's possible that this is a whole lot more affordable when you go abroad. I follow the Mom Trotter on Instagram. Her whole family got braces in Colombia, even though they lived in California. It was cheaper for the whole family of 3 to hop on an airplane, go to Colombia I think every 3 months or it might have been every month. They live in an RV, right? Go to Colombia every so often to get their braces adjusted than it was to get braces in the United States. Okay, now I'm not saying trust every doctor who's got a website on the internet, okay, right? Same care and concern that you put into your healthcare at home, you should put into it abroad. You're going to need to do your research. You're going to want to get in community with some people some expats, some people who have moved to a place, who have like an expectation the same expectation that you have. Right? So you expect your dentist to be able to speak fluent English, I think. If you go to a doctor in another country, you probably want someone who speaks fluent English. Whereas a local person, that's not their concern, right? So get in community with some expats so that you can get referrals, which I didn't do, and recommendations and testimonials from some real live people that you can meet and know. How do you get in some expat groups? Let me point you to my favorite group for Black women who are planning a sabbatical or move abroad or bop around as a nomad. It's my group, okay? I co-host Exodus Summit with Rashida Dow, career break coach Rashida Dow, who lives in beautiful Mexico City right now. Exodus Summit is not specifically a group of people who are in different countries, but inside of Exodus Summit, you can find access to groups for any city in the world that you want to go to. Or even not just groups, but even just women inside of Exodus Summit who are in any city you want to go to. You want to go to Kigali, Rwanda. You want to go to Ajijic, Mexico. You want to go to Lisbon, Portugal, my love, right? You want to go to these places. You want to go to Bridgetown, Barbados. There's somebody inside of Exodus Summit who can, connect with you, hook up with you, meet up with you. You know what I mean, meet up with you. So that is my favorite resource to point you to. You're watching this video at the right time because Exodus Summit 2024 is happening. Exodus Summit 2024 is a conference. It's our 5th annual conference about helping Black women exit the United States. Whether it's for a few weeks on a sabbatical or a few years or for a few decades, we want to help expedite your move abroad. We have speakers coming in this year who are experts and expats on speeding up your move abroad process. If money is a reason that you think you can't move abroad, you should be registered for Exodus Summit 2024, because we have sessions on finding remote work. We have sessions on getting how to proposition, is the word proposition, your employer for remote only or for a leave of absence. And also we have sessions on healthcare, health insurance, and health stuff. Healthcare abroad, health insurance while you're traveling around or after you move abroad, and also things that you need to do for yourself, health things to do for yourself before you go, how to prepare yourself before you go, right? Getting medical records and medication and all of that, okay? So we have a lot of sessions in Exodus Summit 2024 designed to help you move abroad or leave the country quickly, okay? We're move abroad quick kind of girls over here. So join us at Exodus Summit 2024. The link is in the description of this video. It's exodussummit.com, okay? exodussummit.com. So in the description, you'll find the link to Exodus Summit. You'll find you'll find the link to the Exodus Summit Facebook group as well, the community, 18,000 Black women all over the world, right? And then you'll find the link to a couple of YouTubers who talk about medical tourism to help you learn from somebody who does a little more research. People who you should be listening to about medical care, okay? I'm not saying don't listen to me about medical care. I'm saying I've given you all of the caveats to my story. If spending $800 per tooth for a root canal and crown would be a better experience than whatever they're trying to bill you in the United States, then you have the information that I've given you. Okay? And you have access to Exodus Summit where there is even more information. Okay? I invite you to get your ticket to Exodus Summit 2024 if you would like to live in a country where healthcare actually comes with care, right? Where you can be seen and treated as a person, right? And not treated with disrespect or rudeness or just outright hostility. I've seen a Twitter thread going strong for several days now. A woman says she went to the doctor and first thing you can see on her chart is obese. Like, she wasn't there for anything about that, right? This is not, my concern is not related to this at all. But the way the first words you use to describe me are more, and she said morbidly obese, which didn't even make sense because I've seen her pictures and videos, right? And then inside of the appointment, all they wanted to talk about was her weight when the issue was not related to that, right? As a Black woman, as a fat Black woman, as a middle-aged fat Black woman, I get good care in other countries, okay? Consider that for yourself, please, okay? I'm not into struggling and trying to make the situation better. That's not my life's purpose. I'm not on this planet to make situations better. I am here to get the best. Give me the best. I want the best. I don't want to make do out of what's already here. I'm going to where there's the best. Go to where there's good treatment. Go to where there's good weather, right? Go to where there's a better cost of living. Go to where it's best instead of coping with, struggling with the way that things are and the way they have to be. That's not how they have to be. That's how they are in that location. But you pick up your feet. You go somewhere else. Things are better over there, right? I'll never forget that doctor coming to that hotel room for that house call. I will never forget. I've had 2 different doctors WhatsApp me about things. The dentist and another doctor that I saw. I guess I should have thought about this beforehand because I really don't remember where in the world the Philippines, right? In the Philippines. I've had the actual doctor WhatsApp me to give me some medical attention. Where in the US, they act like there's this iron gate and you're not supposed to have access to your own healthcare provider. Where they act like there's not supposed to be any care. So, listen, I have an agenda. I want Black women to go where we can thrive. I'm thriving here in Costa Rica, if you can't tell, right, by my face. I'm thriving down here. Costa Rica is not for everyone, but Costa Rica is a great fit for me. And I really appreciate those dentists. So one more time, I'm not giving the dentist's name. It's because I didn't do any research and I don't want to be responsible for any bad outcomes you have, okay? But I had a good experience. I'm going back, right? This one tooth that's like, oh, oh, me too. I want to join in the fun. I want to join in the party. Going back to that same dentist. I'm not going to bother to research lower prices, okay? All right. Okay, thank you for joining in. If you have other questions that I didn't ask because I didn't do a good job of remembering things, right? If you have any questions that I didn't answer, go ahead and ask them in the comments, please. And share this video with a Black woman you know who has some questions about getting medical care or health care abroad. Thank you so much for watching. I usually say I'll see you next time, but what I'm going to say is I'll see you in Exodus Summit. Be there, okay? Exodus Summit 2024. You don't want to miss it. Link is in the description, exodussummit.com. Okay, thanks, friends. Bye.